Hi everyone, welcome to Raise to Rise podcast, a place where we discuss bite-sized wisdom nuggets with easy-to-follow practices to live a better life. Raise to Rise podcast is supported by Ayurvedic Seva. Ayurvedic Seva is an herbal dietary supplement line set out to change the industry by dedicating the company to quality, safety, and holistic approach on making the wellness journey safe, healthy, and natural. If you want to start adding some natural herbs in your life, then head over to ayurvedicseva.com and use our promo code Raise to Rise for 30% discount. Once again, it's ayurvedicseva.com and use our promo code Raise to Rise for 30% discount. I am your host, Mital Patel, a parenting junkie, Ayurveda enthusiast, and an advocate of conscious living. Hello, welcome to Raise to Rise podcast. I am so happy for each and every one of you for being here and joining our conscious chat. Today, I have a special guest with us. I actually have learned that visual triggers our physical, mental, and emotional health in my journey. And so I was so happy and intrigued in creating the environment for my kids' well-being. And this led me to minimalism and having that living space. And so the one person that came in my mind while I was searching and hearing minimalism is an incredible soul that I connected with on Instagram, Angela, a host of Simple Ayurveda podcast, one of the best podcasts to learn how to live an Ayurvedic lifestyle. She really makes Ayurveda seems so easy to understand and also to practice. She also has a great courses for yoga teachers, and now she also offers a membership program called Simple Ayurveda Collective. We're going to ask her more in details about this specifically later, but for now, let's welcome her. Welcome, Angela, to Raise to Rise podcast. So happy to have you with us.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be here and to talk with you today.
Oh my gosh, I am so happy. And for those of you who doesn't know, my biggest hurdle on starting podcasts was like, oh my gosh, everybody has it, and so I can't do it. And I think I reached out to you, Angela, right? And I was like, oh, because I was told that look at someone who is one step ahead of you. And I was searching Ayurveda podcast, and the person in the podcast that came up yours. So I looked her up, and that's how I got connected. And she's like, if I can do it, you can do it. And I was like, oh my God, like I really can do it. So she was the main person, because we all get inspired with, big talks and, big inspiration, and we all have teacher. But when it comes from someone who's starting and who's like doing that, and they're only like, a couple of steps ahead of you, it makes so much sense, and it gives us that validation. And that's what I got from Angela, and that's why we're here and I'm doing what I'm doing. So you are a big inspiration in my life. So thank you.
Thank you. That gets me so excited, because I feel like the more of us that are just sharing our authentic, messy, vulnerable, real life experiences, the more it just becomes normal for everyone to practice Ayurveda.
I really appreciate it. And because you share a lot of your insights on Ayurveda, a lot on yoga practices, you make everything, easy and also easy to practice right away, not just collecting the knowledge, but also, hey, do the work. And so Angela is one of those person who I've always come across as like, she is doing the work. So she's setting an example for us. And she's just, hey, you can do it this way if this doesn't work. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And that's what I learned from you. Like, hey, it's messy, but you can still do it. So I really like her. So for those of you who are not aware of her work, make sure you go check her out and follow her journey. So Angela, today, because you're such an incredible source of creating the space and actually living the knowledge, and I wanted to ask you more about the minimalism, and you share a lot about it, and I know how much of an advocate you are. Could you share a little bit about the minimalism, the lifestyle, and why did you choose the minimalist lifestyle?
Yeah, sure. I am super excited about minimalism because to me, now there are different definitions floating around, but for me, it's all about being intentional with your energy and your resources and making what's actually important to you be the thing that you focus those things on. So just for example, like having less clutter in the house means I spend less time putting things away, less time cleaning things. And I literally have more time to do yoga or to play with my kids or to do the things that I want to do because I have less time cleaning stuff.
Yeah, no, I love that. I'm glad that you mentioned that there are so many definitions around, and I because when I was researching, I read about and saw the nice pictures, and it was all about what I came across as minimalism is having expensive lifestyle, and
Yeah.
that's what I saw, and so it kind of pushed me back a little. And then I came across your work, and then now, and I see how much you share about it, and I'm like, it doesn't seem it's not about being expensive or having an expensive environment in your place or having an expensive material, but it's about living intentionally. So I really love that how you defined it for us. But so why did you choose it? Just to simplify your life? Like what was the main reason that you chose it?
It's funny because when I look back at some of the things that I've chosen for myself, I didn't even know the word minimalism or simple living. Basically falling in love with this minimalism and simple living movement happened to me when I was pregnant with my son. I started going through some boxes of stuff. I had joined this Facebook group online. I think it was 40 bags in 40 days. And it was a challenge to just get rid of junk in your house that you don't need. So I started going through and realizing, do I actually want this stuff? And I started to get rid of stuff. So that was when I became intentional about minimalism. And then, 6 months later, I would catch myself shopping at TJ Maxx or Home Goods or wherever, rebuying the stuff that I got rid of 6 months earlier. And I started, it seeped into my mind that this isn't about getting rid of stuff, right? It's not about just cleaning out a closet and having less clothes or whatever. It is about a mental shift that I had to break this habit of just shopping for fun or, meeting my girlfriends and walking around the mall. And so rather than just doing the things that were sort of unconscious behavior, I started to focus on the things that, growing up, my family didn't have a lot of money. So we spent a lot of time in nature doing free things like hanging out at the park or going camping in a tent. And so my childhood memories of nature, I went back to those and I started asking my friends, instead of going to the mall or instead of going shopping together today, let's go for a walk in the woods or let's go for a walk on the beach. And to me, those are super tangible examples of how it's not about money or creating this perfect home. It's just what's important. And so, yeah, I think the 40 bags in 40 days sort of kicked me off to being aware of this lifestyle and to listening to other podcasts about minimalism. And there's some great documentaries. There's some on Netflix that are awesome, and different blogs and things like that. So just seeing it from different perspectives. And then as I bring it into motherhood, it just makes life so much easier when I'm not expending energy on things I don't care about.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I had another question that I'm going to ask you later because just because you brought up that point about, having this, living this in your motherhood, how can this impact kids in terms of their behaviors and well-being? Because if you're practicing it and that you're, because you share it's less time putting the stuff away. How can you must have seen the impact. I really would love to hear the impact of this on our kids' well-being.
Yeah. And so just to also point out, I think my kids have mostly had a minimalist lifestyle since birth. But it's kind of like Ayurveda and yoga. It's not something that you do and now you're done, the checklist.
Right.
Because just like, Ayurveda is like that living science. It's like you decide you're going to eat a certain way, but then you end up at someone's house and you have to make a decision about that food. So, deciding that you're going to live a more simple lifestyle or have less options for the kids, things are going to pop up. So it's going to be like a constant ebb and flow and having to reprioritize things. But in general, for me, what it looks like is a lot of time for free play, a lot of creativity. They have access to art supplies and art materials. It looks like that they have time to create things and they are self-motivated. Like I am not taking them to a lot of lessons and classes and creating activities for them. So that's what it looks like in our house. And I don't know if I have my master's in education and I was a public school teacher for a couple of years. So I like studied child psychology and things like that. And so from the behavior standpoint and the well-being for kids, I think we all know at this point that less stimulation is better.
Yes, for sure.
Like, especially like in Ayurveda, the senses are everything. So just having, for example, like my children as babies and toddlers did not have noisy toys or buttons or lights or things like that. And this is where if you Google minimalism for babies and toddlers, you're going to see super expensive,
you're so right. Yeah.
But literally like rubber balls that are like big enough that they can't put in their mouth. That is open-ended fun play. That's simple, right? A basket of balls is like so fun for anyone 3 and under. I mean, my son's 7 and he still plays with the basket of balls. We still just have them laying around.
I actually just started doing this because I see a lot of, I've been trying to implement this. I live with my mother-in-law and my mother-in-law is, she's so, she loves her grandkids. So she buys all these toys and stuff. And since like I've been looking into it, I was like, it's not about buying, now I call them empty calorie toys. They're like really not necessary. And they're like stimulating, like how you mentioned it, because that, creating that noise and like in the buttons, it's like you're pushing my buttons right now.
Yes.
by making that so much noise, because and it also adds up into hyperactivity that I've noticed in my little one. And so I am working on this, just taking away these toys and adding different types of toys. So I would love to hear those recommendations, because not a lot of parents are aware that the minimalism doesn't have to be expensive. We all Google, and like how you mentioned, the expensive toy comes across. So if you can give us some ideas on that would be great.
Yes, I would love to. So basically, we're talking about open-ended toys. So for example, right now I have a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old. Our open-ended toys that are out that they can play with whenever they want. We have Legos. Right now that we have the medium-sized ones, like not the baby Duplos, and then not the little ones. I'm not sure what the medium ones are called though. So we have Legos. We have Magna-Tiles, which are just little squares, that stick together that you can build things with. And then my daughter, they have stuffed animals. They absolutely love their stuffed animals. I think what happened along the way is we sort of like lost what like real child play is like. And the truth is most days my kids, now, especially since we're home in quarantine, they take all the cushions off the couch and make a fort. Like I didn't need to go buy them any special materials to make a fort. Yes, and even if I did, they don't use those. They want to just make what's there.
That is, I actually really align with that. And in my house too, my kids do that all the time. My kids take they have a toddler table and chair. So they make forts out of that, and then they put pillows and the mattresses, and they're like, oh, can I take this mattress? Can I use it? So it's like, it gives them that time to create something of their own, right? And I've seen that they get more compassionate with each other because they do pretend play, right? I've noticed that pretend play.
Yeah, so exactly this, like, so going back to the benefits, so we're
Yeah.
relaxing their nervous system, we're giving them more autonomy,
Mhm.
we're allowing them to be creative and allowing them to come up with the ideas, which is the whole purpose of an open-ended toy, like a
Mhm.
basket of balls or Legos or something like that, is
Mhm.
they're the creator and there are endless possibilities, as opposed to something that you push the button and it does the creation for you, you
Yeah,
know?
I love that part, how you mentioned that they are the creator, and this is the time when we can create that foundation for them. We can give them the space and provide them the space to be creator of their own play, or later on they can be the creator of their own life, right? So this is like the whole
Exactly.
idea behind it. Yeah, I really like that, and that's why it's like
Sometimes
pushing me.
Right. And sometimes they do need a little help. So, for
Mhm.
example, we live by the beach. We walk to the beach a lot. We
Mhm.
don't bring anything. We don't bring shovels, buckets, nothing. We just
Mhm.
walk to the beach.
Mhm.
So, if this is a brand new concept, your kids might be like, where are the toys?
Mhm. Yes.
So, you could start with, well, you can bring what you can carry,
Mhm.
right? So instead of mom lugging a huge thing of stuff, like each
Mhm.
kid has one bucket and one shovel or something. And so there
Yeah,
they are, they're going to be creative with that small amount of stuff rather than a whole big bag of things.
I like
But
that.
and like, I'll just say something like, oh, we're not bringing anything today because I want to go for a walk and find
Uh-huh.
treasures,
Oh, yeah.
so it's like, oh, like that word treasure is exciting. And that
Mhm.
word treasure could be anything. It could be a shell. It could be looking for an animal like a beach bunny or a butterfly or
Mhm.
something. Um,
Yeah, that's really neat. I've seen you posting about it too. Like, you create the shells and the leaves and the nature, whatever you find in your walk, right? And take, yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a try. I've never tried it. But yeah, this sounds like a fun idea to just it sounds fun to me. So imagine them.
right. I think that's a big part of it too. For me, like enjoying motherhood is that
Yeah.
I don't want to play with a bunch of plastic junk. Like I
Mhm.
would rather draw pictures in the sand with sticks and guess and play like a Pictionary type game where we
Mhm.
draw pictures in the sand and guess what each other did or something like that.
Mhm.
And it's just so when I'm having fun and they're having fun, we're actually enjoying our time together,
Yeah.
rather than me playing with like toys that I just don't even find appealing at all.
No, yeah, no. I really I agree on that point. I think that's what I'm gonna do now. Stop buying those toys. And like you just go bare hand with nothing. You carry what you can handle. Like mama can't carry stuff for you. You gotta carry your own toys, however many you can carry. And that would just put them down like, oh, I'm not carrying this thing for me.
Exactly. My
Yeah.
son sometimes will want to bring something. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
if you carry it, you can bring it. And then he's like, nah, never mind.
Yeah. And that just leads to them like be more creative in the space with whatever they have there.
And it also teaches respect, which is something when you were talking about like,
Mhm.
what is the purpose? It's like
Mhm.
they're learning when that, yeah, it takes effort and energy to carry all this stuff around. That
Mhm.
mom's not just your servant.
Right, right.
Uh,
No. Mhm.
and I think it teaches like a lot of the yoga principles, of like
Mhm.
contentment and
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, be happy with what we have, and you don't have to rely on others to be happy. And so you don't need any external stimulation like toys and stuff. You can just create with what you have. Like how we learn in Ayurveda and yoga.
yes, exactly. And like, when it comes to art supplies, like at first I was buying coloring books and activity books and things
Mhm.
like that.
Mhm.
They never want to do any of that. They want
Mhm.
blank paper. Now I just buy a pack of white printer paper that's
Mhm.
recycled and they're in heaven. That's all they want is paper and tape and markers.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
no, they do get into that zone too, like when they just want to do what they want to do. Like they don't want any outline given, drawn, or it's already there. They don't want to play with that. So I don't blame them.
right. And it just like, it helps foster like their own creativity rather than
Yes.
us taking the time to come up with some specific craft that they're
Mhm.
going to create that's going to look like the way we want it to look.
Mhm.
Just letting them create for creation's sake. And there are a ton of resources on this,
Oh yeah.
just of like art teachers, of prompts of instead of asking what is that? Just asking, can you tell me about it? Like a more open-ended question that way, because sometimes art doesn't have a purpose or a point, or, it's not a person or an animal. It's just a line that's squiggly.
Yeah. No, I like that idea of asking them open-ended questions so they can actually express themselves, right? And they can even articulate themselves better, and they can learn this art of articulating their own thoughts. So I like that point. I'm actually, I'm going to work on that too. I have a lot to work on.
I feel like just a lot of times when it comes to questions or things like that, I'll just turn it back on them and be like, what do you think?
Yeah.
Or just the example of, can you explain it to me?
Yeah.
So basically for any art project, you could just say, can you explain?
That makes
to me what you did.
sense too. Yeah. And then they are more open with their ideas, and they can explain it a little more too when we don't know what we're doing.
Right. And it doesn't necessarily make what they did right or wrong. Like, and they can change their mind halfway through. They could start with, this is a person. No, actually it's a house. No, actually it's a sea monster. There is no right or wrong. They're just expressing their ideas, which I feel like, with minimalism and with encouraging them to be their own person and to be creative, to just, you're taking like a backseat of listening, really, rather than making it about wanting a specific answer.
Yeah, just like how Ayurveda teaches us, just listen. What is it trying to tell you? Like, be it your body, be it your thoughts, be it somebody else. Like, just listen, be there, be present, right?
Yes, I was just thinking that the word presence. It's just presence, right? Without judgment or expecting anything out of them.
No need to think about the outcome and what are we going to gain from this. It's just providing that sacred space. So let's say if somebody, I like all the ideas, but let's say if I'm new to this and I don't know where to start from, what do you think, that just give me that one step, how we select that one step, or, where should I start from?
I think you should start from the place that is contributing to the most mental clutter. So if you feel overwhelmed in your own home, then I would suggest just looking around and taking all the stuff, like a bag full of stuff that you don't need, and just put it in a closet somewhere and notice if you miss it. So if you feel overwhelmed by all of your kids' toys everywhere, I would suggest just taking some that you don't even think they're going to notice if you have younger kids, and just put them in a bag and stick them in a closet. And, I do this with my kids, because I've tried doing it together and having a conversation of, okay, do you really play with this? And then, this has not gone well for me. They want to keep everything.
Yeah.
So I just put the stuff in a bag and I put it in a closet. And if they ask me for it, then I give it back. I just go get it. I just say, I just put it away because it was too messy in here, but let me go get it for you. And I can tell you of years of doing this process and getting lots of gifts that I don't want them to have and things like that. I think once or twice have they asked for something that I put away. So,
I like
or
that.
if it's, or if it's your own bathroom, like how we say in Ayurveda, the kitchen and the bathroom are sacred spaces because we take care of ourselves. So if you walk into your bathroom and you have a million bottles of beauty products that you don't use, then perhaps you put them somewhere else for now, so that you have a clear space. And then as you need something, you go get it out of that space, so that we're not just throwing away and rebuying and going on that cycle.
I'm glad that you brought that up.
But let that be the teacher.
I'm glad that you brought that up, the example of the bathroom, because you're right. When in my bathroom, you'll never find anything, like no bottles, nothing. It's all clean, no clutter except the brush and, toothpaste and things like that in my tongue cleaner, nothing else. And I feel, I feel in my own, I feel comfortable, and, I just feel, it feels a little, it's a peaceful place to go and take care of myself, right? I don't need any distractions. And so I like that. I never thought of comparing that with kids' toys. Now I'm going to do that same. I'm going to put them away and see if they're asking. That's a very great idea. So parents, if you're listening, just, if you're overwhelmed, just take care of that. Just put everything in a bag and put it away in a basement, in a closet, in a bin. Just, put it away, hide it where if they ask, and then you bring it back. So I like that idea. Thank you, Angela. I really appreciate that. These are the small, simple tips that I really love how you share, the way you share, be it in your podcast, be it on your Instagram feed, be it anywhere, even in your Facebook group, the resources that you share over there. So thank you. Now that I started talking about your Facebook group and your share, could you tell us a bit about your current offerings, and especially about the Simple Ayurveda Collective? I am so intrigued to share this with my listeners, because you have created that space and that platform, and I really want everybody to benefit from it. So if you can share a little bit about your projects.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity to talk about it. So basically, I've been a yoga teacher for the last 10 years, and I have continuing education classes available for yoga teachers, or just people that are yoga practitioners that want to go deeper into specific areas of Ayurveda and yoga, like sequencing or theming, or the chakras or things like that. And then the Simple Ayurveda Facebook community is a free group for everyone is welcome, where we have a monthly book club where we read a book together and we talk about the topics, and I share journal prompts, and I email study guides for anyone that wants them. And all of that is just free resources. And then I have this Simple Ayurveda Collective, which is something that I wish I would have found myself a couple of years ago when I was really diving deep into Ayurveda work. And so basically it is a monthly membership that is super affordable. And I have scholarships for minorities and people of color that they can always message me about. And it basically, we have a theme of the month, because, Ayurveda is so vast that we can't do everything at once. And so, for example, for 1 month, we focused on the morning routine. So I provide resources, video lessons, self-inquiry, journaling work. The book club usually matches the theme, things like that. And then we have a group discussion, a workshop once a month via Zoom. We have a private networking community that's off of Facebook to get away from that. So there's no ads or no distractions or anything with the Simple Ayurveda Collective. So every month there's a different theme. There's cooking demo, there's menus, there's shopping list. There's information about the doshas. There's a full Foundations of Ayurveda course that walks you through all of the steps of an Ayurveda lifestyle, like daily rhythm and routine. And then there's motherhood information in there, or family information of how to apply Ayurveda to living with kids.
Yeah, no, I really love that, because and I like how you said that it's off of Facebook, so no distractions. And because most of the time when it's a Facebook thing, we get distracted and go into something else. But I love the platform that you chose, and the work that you're sharing. You're doing an amazing job. I'm sure you've heard this so many times, but I really wanted to, I really acknowledge all the hard work that you're putting, because I understand how much work this requires behind the scenes, especially having kids around. So bravo with all the, and all the resources that you also provide, be it, about Ayurveda or yoga, or how to live, the peaceful life with our kids. So thank you. Thank you so much for being the, treasure box of information and knowledge that you were sharing with me. Thank you for being the, instrument in the world. Really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And I really do feel the same way about you and what you share and what you offer.
Oh, thank you. This is about you, Angela. Trust me. It's not about me right now. But yeah, I'll take that. Thank you. I appreciate it. And so, yeah, thank you for sharing all the knowledge that you shared today. And thank you for spending that, giving us that energy that you gave us today with all the wisdom. And I'm not going to say the time, because I really believe in giving the energy more than giving the time. So I appreciate the energy that you brought in today's conscious chat. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. And I love the way that you said that.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Raise to Rise podcast. We would absolutely love to hear your thoughts about today's episode. Please let me know you have listened to this episode and fill me with your aha moment. Share it on Instagram, tag me with hashtag Raise to Rise or at Raise to Rise, and I would love to share those to my stories and shout you out there. I would also love if you can subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. It's our brand new podcast launch, and we have some bonus giveaways going on for the top raters and reviewers. Also, I would love to send you my 7-day parenting journal absolutely for free. All you gotta do is leave me a review in the iTunes store, take a screenshot, and email it over at raisetorisepodcast@gmail.com. Again, take a screenshot of the review and email me at raisetorisepodcast@gmail.com, and I will send you the 7-day parenting journal absolutely for free. Thank you so much for being the active listener of this podcast. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you for raising your consciousness and rising as joyful beings.